Good morning, it's Monday the 4th of July 2016 and a happy Independence Day to our American millions, boys and girls, millions of American boys and girls whose it is Independent Day today. Da, 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 da. A happy Independence Day to you. Just think, in a few years' time, we will be having our own Independence Day from Europe. We will indeed. Now, what should be the song for that? I think Land of Hope and Glory. Da, 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 da. I shall have to bring my cymbals out for that, boys and girls. Not only is it Independence Day today, but Saturday, excitement returned to the radio. I am pleased to say, boys and girls, that Tony Blackburn, we bow down in his holy name. Tony Blackburn has returned to radio in London. Oh yes, there's a news station called Thames Radio, available on DAB and online. Now, if you look for it on the internet, I have to say it's quite, I don't know why, but maybe because it's new, I'm not quite sure how it works. Oh, have I cleared the place? No, I haven't. There it is. But if you type in Thames Radio, you get, I don't like to say this, it's almost like swearing in the radio industry. I don't like to say this word. You get, please don't tell anyone I told you this. You get Heart. You know Heart, the one that plays the same records all the time. Yes, not bad music, but the same ones over and over again. Oh, listening to music on Heart is like listening to a Leave campaigner go on and on and on about losing. God's sake, no. What you're looking for is Thames Radio, and I shall give you the address now. It's thamesradio.london, okay? www. No, I'm actually going to type that in to make sure I've got that right. www.thamesradio, all one word, .london. Just a moment, please. Nothing happening. Oh, there we are. Yes. Okay, once again, have a look at it. Thames Radio, THAMES radio.london. I thought they might use a jingle like the old Thames Television. Remember that? Da, 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 da. But they didn't. Never mind. The jingles are very good and the music is fantastic. And more importantly, you've got some stars that you will recognise hosting on this wonderful new radio station. As I say, it's on DAB in London and the South East. Or, if like me, you still haven't been pushed to buy a DAB set, boys and girls, you can listen online or on the little, there's a TuneIn Radio app. There's an app called TuneIn Radio, and it's on there as well. Type in Thames Radio, and you should see it. As well as Tony Blackburn, they've got Neil Foxy, yeah, Neil Fox, and Pat Sharp, who's had his hair cut. About bloody time as well. Honestly, dear, you could almost climb up that hair when he was on Capital Radio. Capital Radio, Capital. And the music's fantastic. A lot of 80s on there, and of course, on Tony Blackburn's Soul Show, it is soul music. Oh, yes. Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the groove, and ain't nobody. La, da, 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 da. And of course, solid as my, and things like that. It's wonderful, wonderful. So don't forget that. The Tony Blackburn has returned. Our leader, we bow down. Our leader has returned to radio in London on Thames Radio on Saturday nights for the Soul Night Party, I think it's called, between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. Once again, it's Thames Radio, London. THAMESRADIO.London. All one word, that Thames Radio. ThamesRadio.London, and you'll find it on there. And there's a little listen live thing in the top right corner. Okay, they are going to bring one of those, what are they called now? Repeat buttons. You know where, so if you miss a show, you click it and then it'll play again. But they haven't got that yet. So remember, shall I say it again? Have I not said it enough? Okay, Saturday night, 6 p.m, the Tony Blackburn Show on Thames Radio. Yes, I'm very, really happy about that. I used to be a great fan of his in the 80s when he had his own show on the BBC in London. He used to do this show in the morning. I think it was 9 till 12 in the 80s, and it was very risque, really, really good, and the same music, Soul Night Out and all that stuff. Lovely to turn the telly on this morning and see that Ed Milliband has got a new job, dear. Ed Milliband. M-I-L-L, yeah, Milliband. That's right, yes. Well, he was a Labour a Labour leader. Shouldn't say this. Didn't get many votes, dear. No. Didn't get many votes, but he's found a new job, presenting a programme on the television. There I was, just before I'd come out to talk to you, dear friend and loyal viewer and listener to United Kingdom Talk. Just before I came up here, I switched on my television to see the Victoria Derbyshire show. Have you seen her? Oh, she's very posh. Oh, hello and welcome to the BBC, where the Victoria Derbyshire show. Oh, she's really good. I like her. Lovely. She's got a lovely posh voice. She's been through it, you know. She had breast cancer a little while ago. And she allowed the camera to film her whole journey with that business. She got over it and all that. And the dreadful chemotherapy, because it has some terrible side effects, but it does keep you alive, doesn't it? So she's on this morning, and they did this little story, and Ed Milliband was like the reporter for this story. How wonderful! I'm so glad, Ed, that you've found something else to do. It really is good. Because you must have been sitting at home, bored to tears, while you're watching Jeremy Corbyn make a complete mockery of everything that's going on, dear. Poor old Jeremy, please. I feel sorry for Jeremy Corbyn. I honestly do, because I honestly don't think he wanted that job. I don't think he wanted that job. But now he's in it. He don't want to go. Come on, dear. Go. Time to go. Let someone else have a go. Oh, I do feel sorry for him. But anyway, back to Ed Milliband. So he was hosting this programme, and he was talking about rent to buy. Now, these are those shops, for example, Bright House. Now, we've got one in Bracknell where if you can't afford something, now, you see, in my day, if you can't afford something, you wouldn't have it. You would save up for it, right? But in this day and age, we have been told that, have as much credit as you want, then it's apparently quite acceptable to buy things that I would never have taken out credit for. Now, I've taken out credit for a house and a car. And that's it. When I was a child, you would only borrow money for houses and cars. That's it. Nothing else. Nowadays, you find people borrowing money for all sorts of things. Now, I know what you're going to say, but that's the only way they can afford it. No, I don't agree. Because when I wanted something, including when I first bought my own house, when I wanted something, I saved up for it. Whether it would be an armchair or a table or a bed or something like that, I would save up for it. Indeed, before I moved out of my mother's house into my little one-bedroom flat in Wandsworth, I saved up for a few things before I could afford to move. That's how it was. Now, people borrow money for stuff, including things like televisions, sofas, washing machines, all that sort of stuff, right? Because, yes, as I just said, that is the only way they can afford it. Anyway, so they go in these places like Bright House, and you might have, say, a washing machine. Normal price in Curry's, for example. Normal price in Curry's, £350. When you see it in the window in Bright House, it tends to be dearer than that, maybe £390. And that is if you was to walk in and buy cash. £390 for that same washing machine. Now, the idea of going to Bright House is that you don't have to shell out that £390. Oh no, instead you can shell out £10.50 a week. Whatever that is, well, or whatever it is, I'm just plucking numbers out of the sky here. But when you work it out, and then they have like 5-star insurance and all this, and you have to have the insurance and what have you. But when you work it out, this £10.50 is over a number of years. Not 1 year, a number of years, okay? Whether or not you can do it over 1 year, I don't know. I've never gone in there and bought anything, and I wouldn't. That's not just Bright House, but there's other stores as well that do this, okay? over the period of time, that £390 washing machine ends up costing you over £1,000. It's a hell of a lot of money, isn't it? Honestly, that £390 washing machine will cost you over £1,000. Now, I'm sure you go in Bright House and the service is wonderful and the people are nice and all smiley. And if something goes wrong, they probably sort it out. But for God's sake, you could have bought 4 washing machines by then. Couldn't you? It's a hell of a lot of money. So it was quite good. Ed Milliband, you could tell it was his first interview. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't that bad. Weren't fantastic, but it weren't that bad. And good luck to him. Nice to see Ed Milliband has a new job. Yes. He was sitting at home. You just imagine him sitting. He's been like this for months. Oh, what should I do now? Oh, what should I do now? Well, I don't know. Maybe I'll ring up my friend. No. Should I speak to my brother? Oh, no. Should I speak to my brother? No, he's not talking to me. He's a bit like... So he's got... Oh, don't. I used to have teeth like that. I got them sorted, though, when I was a little boy. Yes, that high. Oh, even smaller than that. I had to wear that thing at night and all my teeth were metal and all that business. So good on you, Ed Milliband, and a very interesting thing. Bright House, it's pointless me saying to you, I suppose, don't buy anything unless you can afford it, except if it's a car or a house, because that's how I was brought up. People borrowing money for everything now. Yeah, go on holiday. People borrow money for Christmas. Not good. Not good. Right, lovely to see. Father Danny, as I've got to tell you about church yesterday. Father Danny yesterday. Now, if you are a regular viewer to this multi-award winning faceted show, I make up some of these words instantly. I don't know what half of them mean. I really don't. If you are a regular viewer, you will know the ongoing conversation with myself and the great Father Danny, where I go and to his church on Sundays. Just here in Bracknell it is, actually. And you will know that I'm very unhappy at the moment with the Gloria. The Gloria, which is part of the Mass, the service, if you may. There is a little bit in it called the Gloria, which is like a beautiful prayer that they put to music. And over time, we've had a couple of different tunes. My favourite being... Da 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 da. Very nice and jolly and happy. It is a happy prayer. Glory to God in the highest. It's a bit like that, okay? But sadly, recently, boys and girls, they have introduced a different tune. Now, they have used this tune before, months ago, and then I wrote a small letter of... I don't know if it's a letter of... I don't really do letters of complaint too much, but it was. I suppose it was. A letter of... Why is my collar dropping again? Look, that collar keeps dropping. Like, why does that keep happening like that? Yes, I wrote a small letter of suggestion that they dump the very depressing tune they have been using. Anyway, they brought it back a few weeks ago. And the tune is... and it's so goddamn depressing, dear. It's awful. Awful. Anyway. Now, listen, I go to funerals. And you know that typical funeral hymn, abide with me, fast falls the eventide, or the Lord's my shepherd. Now these are very sad hymns, but they're not depressing. They're not depressing. You cry when you hear some of these, especially the Abide With Me, you know, when the coffin starts going out onto that conveyor belt or carried out with the dearly departed in it. You know, little tears come down your cheeks, don't they? Oh, I'm sorry, I've done it for you now, haven't I? I don't mean to make you cry. This is supposed to be a happy programme, but it's so difficult when we are talking about the Gloria. A beautiful prayer. oh, and you come out there, you just want to be not on this earth anymore. It is so depressing. Last week, I wrote to Father Danny a second time and said, you know, I am now considering, after hearing that hymn so many times, after hearing that prayer so many times, actually going in to that clinic in Switzerland or wherever it is, and, you know, pushing a button and ending it all. I'm sorry, it's so depressing. Anyway, so you'll also know, if you watch the show regularly, that I suggested that I bring in antidepressants. And he said he had some as well if I wanted some. So Sunday, he comes in, the bell rings, ding, 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 ding. It rung very well this week. It depends which the altar servers are to how well the bell rings. I did notice at the Eucharist this week that the bell, you know, when he holds up the hose, it went ding, ding. She rung it at the wrong time. We had extra dings, dear. And it's like a pudding basin. It's not like a bell. It's a pudding basin. Ding, ding. Why are they using a pudding basin to make the bell sounds? I don't know. Anyway, must continue to tell you. So the bell rings, ding, ding, and the altar boys and girls come out. They have girls as well now. I'm not quite sure when that happened. They have girls serving on the altar. But anyway, there are all these little people coming out, and then Father Dan is at the back. And then he looked at me, and I put my hand in my pocket, and I shook these pills. I brought out some of my prescription pills, put them on the thing in front. Well, he nearly collapsed on the floor when he saw that. I thought, right, gotcha. But then, later on during the Mass, when he was doing the sermon, of which usually several people fall asleep, when he was doing the sermon this morning, he was talking about, do you know if you're going in the right direction? And if you're happy and quite easygoing, then you probably are. Or if you're a little bit... remember, he's standing... Oh, no, what have I done now? Just a minute, the computer's gone wrong. 1 minute. I think I touched something. Oh, that's all right. Yes, he's standing up there doing this sermon, right? So he's talking about stuff then. And then he got on to... but if you're a little bit unhappy, perhaps a little bit depressed, like Chris is sitting down here in the front at the moment, he doesn't like the new Gloria. And I just wanted the floor to open up and swallow me. In front of all these people. Well, of course, the choir and the organist just look straight down at me. How? And you wonder why I won't join the choir, Father. Honestly. They look straight down at me. Well, I thought I was going to be murdered outside my own church here. My word. Na, 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 na. And I'm sure they're doing it even slower now. I think they're playing it even slower, just to annoy me. I'm sure they are. And then a little bit later on, he came down when he was come for the offertory. He came down and he said, "Have you forgiven me yet?" We love Father Dan. We love him. We love him. So that's what happened yesterday. Total me embarrassed. Can you believe that? Embarrassed. Thank you, Father Danny, for that. Yes. Going back to the very unprofessional on BBC News this morning, it really was, because after they spoke to Ed Milliband, they did the Ed Milliband interview, it cut back to, what's her name again? I've forgotten her name now. Victoria Derbyshire. Oh, good morning and welcome to the Victoria Derbyshire show. Hi on BBC News. Oh, she's very posh. Very, very, very important. I bet she walks around with a clipboard, you know, one of those. We had one of those in the sports centre the other day. You know, tall woman walking around in high heels and a clipboard. Very, very, very important people. And you know what we think of important people on this show, don't we? Bye-bye. Yes, we do. Yes, so it cut back to Victoria Derbyshire, and she's sitting there, you know, she sits there, tries to look, you know, with the legs are crossed, you know, the legs are crossed, a little bit of knees sticking out onto the screen. And she says, well, usually at this point in the show, we have our sports report, but there's been a mix-up with with the rota, so there's no one to read it, so we're looking for a sports presenter at the moment. I mean, how professional. This is BBC One Colour, dear. It's BBC, dear. How unprofessional can you be? Dear me, there's been a mix-up with the rota at the BBC. Surely not. Surely not. So very unprofessional. Anyone see that? I howled when I saw that. Never mind. Nice to see Wendy Young, great Barry Manilow correspondent, has recently been to another concert and seen the great Lionel Richie. Hello, is it me you're looking for? 'Cause I wonder where you are, and I wonder what you do. Are you someone feeling lonely, or is someone feeling up you? That might be the wrong words, I'm not quite sure, but it's nice to see you getting out and seeing some other concerts. Although I gather Lionel Richie was a little bit late, wasn't he? He was a little bit, was it up 45 minutes late? How rude, dear. But apparently once the show got going, it was really good. So I'd like to see Lionel Richie. I'd like to see Neil Diamond. All the greats. Neil Diamond I'd like to see. Matt Monro, is he still alive? Would like to see him. Joe Longthorne, the greats. Shirley Bassey. Oh, I'd have to have a front seat for Shirley Bassey. All the greats. Justin Bieber. I want to be there. I want to be there and see just how low his trousers are now. Is the crutch now touching the floor? Dear me. So there we are. Okay. Let's do the birthdays today, boys and girls. It's birthday time. So I'm going to do the birthdays of yesterday. Just a minute. I wonder what all these bits of paper were for. I bet there's something here I should have read out. Look at the time, dear. I wanted to be out by 10. I wanted to be on my way to my sister's by 10 o'clock. God, it's holiday time. Holiday time. Tomorrow's show. I'm not sure when. I hope to be able to do a little show each day for you while I'm away, okay? Do you know, I can't even see. Look how badly that's printed out. I can't even see that. That's it. Oh, there we are. Some birthdays yesterday, because we weren't here yesterday, were we? Luke Nicholas Turner, 27 yesterday. Hello, Luke. How are you? It's been a long time since I saw you. Come along and have a little dance one day. My neighbour, Tim Harvey, who's 56. I'm so pleased, Tim, to see that you are older than me. That has pleased me. 56 today. Happy birthday, Tim. Can't get my glasses back on there. Let's see. Laurie Morgan. Happy birthday to Laurie. Ray Chapman. Ray Chapman. There's someone I've known for years and years. And I also did a little bit of a DJing work from, oh my God, that must be about 12 years ago now, down on the coast, Eastbourne, wasn't it? That was a bit of a drive, but happy birthday, Ray. Happy birthday to Sebastian Malaysia. Happy birthday, Sebastian. He's one of our little karaoke people, aren't you? Happy birthday, Sebastian. Great singer as well, you are, sir. Adam J. Stewart, happy birthday to you lot for yesterday. And today's birthdays, we have today... One moment, please. One moment. I'll be with you in a minute. Talk amongst yourselves. There we are. That's it. Here we go. Danny Clemens. He is in the US of A, aren't you, Danny? Is it California? California, here we come. Yes, Danny Clemens, happy birthday, 23 today. Eric Callis. Oh, Eric, I haven't seen you for ages. How is the hotel industry going? I hope you're doing very well. He runs hotels. Happy birthday, Eric. Happy birthday to Paul Hykens, I think it's Hykens. Happy birthday, Paul. Nice to see you, sir. And happy birthday to an ex-DJ colleague of mine. Oh, it makes him sound like he's dead, doesn't it? So he is not quite dead yet. But Simon Holloway, who is in, I think, Melbourne in Australia, and is having a bit of a fight with spiders and snakes. He found a snake in his house once. Oh, can you imagine that, boys, in here in the UK? A snake in your house. Oh, that frightened the life out of me, Simon. Rather you than me. Do you want to move back? We've got a nice cold flat in the centre of London, surrounded by traffic, waiting for you. Or do you prefer to live in the Australian outback? Oh, yes, Simon Holloway. Used to DJ with him. And we used to get up to all sorts of bad things, me and Simon. And he's in Australia. Happy birthday today, Simon. I noticed, Simon, that you've hidden your age, dear. So how old are you now? Oh, you've got to be in your 50s, ain't you, love? Let's have a quick look at the photo. Oh, yes, easily. Oh, dear. Dear, don't you look rough and ready now? Or are you trying to look rough and ready? He's one of those people that tries to look rough and ready, but in fact, he opens his mouth and he gives it away. Oh, hello, Chris. How are you? Campest thing in the world. Anyway, let's say happy birthday to these people now, gang. Here we go. Happy birthday to you. birthday to you. Happy birthday, lovely people. Happy birthday to you. Alright, happy birthday, gang. Right, it's Monday night. Tonight I will not be hosting karaoke. I've got nothing to do for 4 days now. I'm off. However, my good friend and compatriot Ben Parker will be hosting your karaoke tonight at Central Station in Wharfdale Road in King's Cross, along with cheap drinks as well. Okay, that starts at 8 o'clock. Apart from that, have a lovely Monday. See you soon. Bye-bye.